And of course, against Aston Villa. So we'll talk to the Spurs podcaster, Chris Cowlin, and from the Magpie Group, it's Sean Wade. Good evening, gentlemen.
Johnny, good evening.
How are we doing, guys? Let's ask Chris first of all, because I think I might get a better answer.
Very happy indeed. Of course, we've gone through a bit of a struggle these last few weeks, but it's great back to winning ways, and to find ourselves only 3 points away from the top four and only 7 points away from top place. This stage of the season, Postecoglou's done a tremendous job, but there were so many really decent performances today, and we thoroughly deserved the win. And I know the Newcastle fan won't be happy to hear this, but we could have scored 10 today. We were that good.
Tell me, what is it that Postecoglou has done that your previous 5 managers haven't done?
The entertaining football that we have seen this season has been incredible, and it's an absolute delight to see. Everyone is really looking forward to the next game. We're absolutely loving it at the moment. There was like a party atmosphere here today, and it's been like that since he arrived, really. We've seen more entertaining football in these past couple of months than we have seen under Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte, Nuno Espirito Santo, amongst others. And, he's instilled that belief as well. We had a tremendous transfer window in the summer. The whole team has changed. Of course, Harry Kane left in the summer. And, the exciting thing to see is that what he has brought to the club, I think, is only going to get better and better and better. And as every week goes by, us Spurs fans are feeling more confidence in our manager, which is great to see. But the togetherness is back, the smiles are back.
I'm just going to have to double-check here with my production team that this is a Spurs fan talking. I have never heard such a chipper Spurs fan in the media in my whole history of career. So congratulations to the optimism going around that giant, fantastic stadium.
When you think, we went to a Champions League final under Pochettino in 2019. Right. And, it's very fair to say that we've gone around in circles as a football club since. We appointed a couple of win-now managers, but Ange Postecoglou, he's not that young. He's been round the block. He's been, he's had a number of jobs, been successful everywhere he's gone. Of course, he's taken the Spurs job. There were a lot of doubters, a lot of Spurs fans.
Me included,
doubters. Yeah, and he's proved everyone wrong. And when you look back at his career, he has proved everyone wrong wherever he's gone, whatever he's done, and he's been a fantastic manager. But, I speak about trophies a lot. 15 long years without a trophy. I'm just hoping that Ange Postecoglou is the man to take us forward. But at the moment, things are great. We've had a lot of injuries. I know Newcastle have had a lot of injuries as well, and they've got a lot of key players out for today's game. But, you take James Maddison out and Mickey van der Ven, etc. You take those players out, it is a different Spurs team. But, in recent weeks, although we've lost games, we have given some really decent performances, which is great to see.
Commiserations to Sean Wade today from the Magpie Group. How are you, mate? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling fine. It's just one of those things where, we've had a roller coaster start to the season. Hampered by many injuries. You've got to hand Tottenham full credit today. They outplayed we. They were stronger than we. They were faster. They were well organised. They exploited our defence on every attack. If in the first half, if Newcastle should have scored 3, then it could be argued that Spurs should have scored 6.
Sean, they looked a bit leggy today towards the end of the game, didn't they? There was a slight fatigue issue, wasn't there, about the Newcastle team today? Do you agree?
I think there's more than just a slight fatigue. We've got sort of I think it's now about 11 first-team players that are still out. Yeah. Thankfully, we saw Callum Wilson returning back and Sean Longstaff to the squad, but obviously their fitness isn't fully back. The same with the players like Isak. He's still not 100% match fit. So we're kind of playing really hampered at the moment, and we've got a massive game coming up on Wednesday against Milan.
Yeah.
We're not really in a position to be strong enough to be taking on the kings of Europe, as it were. But we've just got to sort of roll the sleeves up, face the next game. Spurs is gone. We've got a bit of a beating. But yeah, we've got Milan on Wednesday and we've got Fulham on Saturday.
Every neutral in the English game is gutted for you about what happened at Paris Saint-Germain, because that late goal has meant that the Milan game means whatever happens in that game, it's kind of out of your hands. You've got to hope that Dortmund do the business for you.
It's kind of out of our hands, but I mean, if we can get a result against Milan, then we are hoping that Dortmund can overturn PSG, which is in their capabilities to do. But it comes down to what team are they going to field. They're guaranteed first place no matter what they do. So do they give the kids a run out, you know? So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like I said before, you know, these games in Europe against such a depleted squad, it is hampering in the league. And I think it's more important for us now to concentrate on the league and trying to get a European position again next season.
Chris, I'm going to mention the H word here, the H-bomb, which was when Harry Kane left the club at about the same time as Ange came in. I thought, oh, he's an unlucky general. But then again, you look at Harry Kane, who scored too much of a lion's share of the Spurs goals. He was the Alf Ramsey, Bobby Charlton, wasn't he? You know, for goodness sake, carry the ball and give it to Harry Kane, in a way that Jack Grealish was at the Villa. And both of our clubs, I'm a Villa fan, we've become better teams since our heroes have shuffled their claret and blue and white coils, right?
I don't know, Johnny. I don't know whether we've become a better team. We've certainly become a different team, of course.
But everyone contributes, including your beautiful, brilliant South Korean boy.
Absolutely. Heung-min Son was absolutely sensational.
I don't know which way to say it round, so I'm going to let you say it.
Yeah, Heung-min Son was absolutely incredible today.
He's such a great player.
And, you know, he's now overtaken Christian Eriksen's assist record for Spurs, now 83 assists. And he has been brilliant. And, you know, to play that central role and, you know, to have him go out on the left as well, you know you're always going to get, you know, something from Heung-min Son. But, yeah, a lot of people were very disappointed in the summer when Harry Kane left. But, of course, Harry Kane is scoring goals in the Bundesliga for fun. He's going to do extremely well there. He's going to go on to be successful and win many trophies, I've absolutely no doubt. But it's about moving on as a football club because, you know, one player isn't your football club. You've got to move on without some of these stars sometimes. Yeah. And Ange Postecoglou is not about stars. He is about, you know, putting in everything. And, you know, he wants and demands everything from everyone all the time, which is great to see. But, you know, he has been a shining light at this football club since he has arrived in the summer. And I think it's only going to get better and better and better. And if you said to any Spurs fan in the summer, you know, after 16 games, we will only be 3 points away from the top four, only 7 away from top spot, we would have all taken it. But, you know, to see the entertaining style that we've seen so far, we're all, you know, smiling right now.
It's wonderful to hear that optimism. And don't be too downhearted. Obviously, you're in the Champions League, Sean. You were in the group of death. You have really given those famous sides, all European champions apart from PSG, a proper run for their money. The one thing I've got to ask you, though, as a Newcastle United fan, is Chris mentions it's been 15 years of hurt since Spurs last won a trophy, but it is, and I know my facts, it was 1969 the last time Newcastle won a serious trophy, which was indeed a European trophy, sort of the trophy that Villa are in at the moment. It was a sort of version of the Conference European trophy, wasn't it? The Fairs Cup, the Intercity Fairs.
Yeah.
And
long time, and then we have to go back to 1955 before we won a trophy. So,
oh man, you are loyal fans. And the thing about it is, I mean, obviously you've won championships, the wrong ones. What was the second division championship to get promoted and everything. And you've lost in finals, lost to United in the Carabao Cup. You've lost in FA Cup finals. I mean, every neutral wants Newcastle United to break the ducks. Eddie Howe, tell me, Eddie Howe, and that continuity. He is the man, isn't he, that will bring one home for Newcastle United.
100%.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time, you know. I think, really speaking, we're a couple of transfer windows away from having a really good sort of squad. We've got a good squad now, but unfortunately, you know, we've got very young sort of players in there that are inexperienced, which have been shining tremendously. But yeah, we've got some areas that we need to build on. Nick Pope being out at the moment is a massive hindrance to it, and it looks like it's going to be another 4 to 5 months. So we're goalkeeping area needs to be strengthened for sure. Dubravka proved that today and against Everton. So really speaking, yeah, I think it's going to be a matter of time before we do get silverware under Eddie Howe. So yeah, the future does look bright. The future looks black and white, basically.
Eddie Howe, Bournemouth, Burnley, Bournemouth, succeeded at Bournemouth, but failed at Burnley in a way where Sean Dyche succeeded immensely. And he's come to Newcastle United, which for every other manager before Eddie Howe has been a poisoned chalice. Can I ask, is he the man now in his sort of older years, the commanding man in the dressing room that can handle the big names?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
He's proven his capabilities already, you know, considering he hasn't got a great deal or any European sort of kind of a back catalogue. You know, he's already shown that against the likes of PSG, Dortmund, Milan. He can hold his own.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. It's just a shame that basically he's playing with half a squad, and he hasn't been able to rotate players because of that. So yeah, he's definitely the person to take it forward. I don't think, really speaking, that the managerial job at Newcastle has been so much of a poisoned chalice, other than the fact that we just had a really poor owner for such a long time.
Right, yes.
No interest. Well, Mike Ashley had no interest in taking the club forward. He didn't want us to be in Europe. He didn't want us to succeed because it didn't benefit him. You know, so ultimately Mike Ashley's goal was to advertise his brand. And if you get European qualification, and the first thing that happens is with the UEFA Cup or the Champions League or whatever, they come in with their own sponsorship deal. So therefore, his goal wasn't there. You know, so he had no need for it.
Just a word on your new ownership. Just a word on your new ownership, which is effectively Saudi Arabia, isn't it? Yeah. Are you cool at school with that, or does that sort of upset you? How do the fans feel about it?
Well, the way I see it is that we've got a team and owners that have ambition, which is something that we haven't had for such a long time. So I say bring it on, along with the other 97% of the fans that were voted. You know, sort of the Newcastle United Supporters Trust took a vote, and they sort of they all voted in favour of the new ownership.
Yeah.
And to be fair, compared to even in such a short space of time of 2 years of new ownership, the comparison between what we have now and what we've had over the last 14 years is just completely night and day. You know, and you can feel that around the city with our fans and our support. I mean, we've always had a good support home and away, regardless of where we've been, whether we've been in the Championship or, you know...
You guys, especially the guys who don't wear the shirts.
Well,
the big fellas.
That can be true enough.
They're rather noticeable, aren't they?
They can be.
In their pink outfits.
Yeah. But, I mean, really speaking, I think it's just a case of, you know, it is night and day from where we were to where we are now and to where we're going. And I don't think that you can put a price on that.
No, you can't.
And true. Really speaking, you know, the Saudi Arabian owners come under some sort of stick and things, but, you know, for human rights and for how women are treated in the country and stuff. But you've also got to remind yourself that there is a woman at the head of Newcastle United Football Club, and Amanda Staveley, you know, and she's been entrusted by Saudi Arabia to take the club forward. So, you know, and I think, really speaking, if you're a woman living in Saudi Arabia, then you've got to be looking at things that Saudi Arabia are doing as a country and actually taking and kind of reflect from that, you know.
To balance this up, there are progressive moves in Saudi Arabia, and it's a country that I've never visited, but I have visited other Gulf nations, and there is a progression about the country to move away from their traditional oil and gas millionaireship towards diversification. They are building a neon and a remarkable new city, and you know, I think they've won the World Cup as well in 2030. So there is only one way that Saudi are going. I think they will be peace brokers as well in the Middle East. I really, really believe that, and that's something that I've mentioned in particular shows here on Talk TV. But back to...
anything, you know, change is on the way, isn't it?
Change is coming. I do really believe that.
Overnight. Yeah, well, it doesn't happen overnight, does it?
It doesn't happen overnight. They are slow cookers, I am told, in terms of developing new ideas. But I'm starting to move away from the agenda of the Sunday Night Club and ask Chris about your treatment table, which I mentioned with Sean just before. How is your injury list? Have you got a squad big enough?
Well, of course, Maddison will be back, hopefully. Van der Ven will be back in January. That is going to, you know, really strengthen our team as a whole. But I think the January transfer window is really, really important for the football club.
Yeah.
Because we had such a good window in the summer. and I hope that Ange Postecoglou gets the opportunity to pick a number of players again and take this club forward. Because, of course, we're not playing any European football this season. We finished 8th last season.
Yes.
And so used to playing Champions League football, which is, great at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We've had some great nights and great away days as well. But we want to be back in Europe. That is the aim. So, give Ange Postecoglou all of the tools. But I do think once we are through December and January, because, of course, Sarr and Basuma go off to their respective competition, and goes off as well. So once we get back into February, I think that then we'll be back to full strength, and then it's all systems go, the business end of the season to try and finish in one of those top European spots, and hopefully we will hear that Champions League music back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next season. But as I say, Postecoglou's doing a fine job, and many people are very, very happy with what they've seen so far. Just as that Champions League music has been played around St James's Park as well this season, what a pleasure to speak to both of you on an optimistic vibe. One of you winner, one of you loser, but both happy with their lot, and that is a very pleasant way to be starting the Sunday Night Club. Thank you very much, gentlemen. That is Sean Wade of the Magpie Group and Chris Cowlin of the Spurs podcast. And I've got to say, I never hear Spurs fans talk like that, so it's an absolute breath of fresh air. It's like someone's opened the window here at Talk TV, and I'm breathing in April freshness. Maybe Spurs will be in and around the Champions League places come the spring.